Alright guys, this is it. This is going to be the most detailed breakdown of the Stranger Things season 5 trailer that you will see on the internet, because we are going to go into the deep end of each and every frame that you are going to see. Let's start straight away. Okay, before that, there are some things that you need to know about the Stranger Things season 5 as a whole. Number one, of course, it is the continuation of the season 4, but there is going to be 18-month gap. There is going to be a gap of 1.5 years between season 4 and season 5, between the events of season 4 and season 5. Therefore, a lot of things are there to be answered about where was Vecna, why was Vecna not present, and what happened to Hawkins after it got broken into pieces. So the first frame that we see of the trailer is this house, and as you can clearly see that this is the upside down, and this house has entirely covered with vines. And what does it tell us? Of course, it is in the upside down, but keep in mind this thing, this tower, because this tower is going to be very important as we go along into the video. So just keep this in mind. Then the second frame is this. So this is a Demogorgon. Now the way this Demogorgon is just paving way for Vecna to come here, it just feels like a servant who, you know, just bows down and just lets the king enter. This has that kind of a feeling. Yeah, he bows and he just bows out. But here we can see Vecna. Now this form of Vecna is very close to the form that we saw in season number 4. And here Vecna says, last long we can begin. So this is definitely the start of Vecna's fatal plan that he has for the entire world, and not just Hawkins, because he wants to kill he wants to destroy the entire world, and this is the start of his plan. And I think so that this house that we saw at the start of the trailer is definitely the lair of Vecna this time, because last time around Vecna's lair was the Creel house but in the upside down, and this time around it looks like it is going to be this house which is going to be Vecna's lair, but of course in the upside down. Then we see Dustin's first look. Now Dustin is definitely going here in Hawkins High, but the way Dustin is walking here, the way he is just going through everyone, it just looks like he is angry, he's determined, and he's there to prove a point, and that point may be about Eddie Munson. And we also got to see some of the leaked pictures a year and a half ago, I think, where Dustin was in the same outfit, but he was visiting Eddie Munson's grave. So maybe after this scene he goes on to meet Eddie to his grave and just talks about a few things. So that could be one of the scenes that are going to be follow up to this scene. Now this is perhaps one of the most important things of the entire trailer. Now look at here, we have seen this building prior to this, of course, right? Because this is the same building that we saw here. Of course it is the same building, but this is in the upside down and this is in the real world. Now what does it tell us? Now this is going to be Vecna's lair, and let me tell you, this is also going to be the military camp for this season. Now in this season we have our kids, our teenagers, our adults, all of our Hawkins players, but then we also have Vecna. He's the villain, but between them we have the military just posing as a threat to our people, just to our human beings, just to our heroes. And you can see this red light coming out of here. Just keep this red light in mind, because this is going to be in the trailer once again, and it will just blow your mind when it comes out. But bottom line, this is a military camp. Now this was one of the most famous scenes when the behind the scenes picture started to came out. Now this is obviously the WSQK radio station, and we all know that this season the WSQK radio station is going to be the hideout spot or the base of our heroes. And this scene was very viral because we saw Eleven and Mike on top of the WSQK radio station, and it felt like when we were talking about the behind the scenes pictures a year and a half ago maybe, it felt like it was a breakup scene, but it doesn't look like a breakup scene, because yeah, it feels like that they are kind of stuck here. Now there is a dialogue by Mike, and he says, we are really starting to lose it, being stuck in here, no end in sight. Now I think the 18-month gap that we have here, the most of the 18 months our guys are going to spend here, and maybe they are hiding from the military, they are maybe hiding, of course, 11 from the military, and maybe they are all stuck here. So that's why Mike said that line. Then we again see the military, but this camp is different from this camp that we see, because here you see everything, all of the area surrounding this building is occupied. But here we can see empty land, and what does it tell us? That this is a different military base camp. Now we have Joyce Bias, and behind Joyce Bias we can see 11, and they are getting into a tunnel, an underground tunnel. And if you remember, in the second season, tunnels were perhaps the most important part of the entire show, and we again have similar kind of some tunnels, similar looking tunnels. So here we see it is Winona Ryder, then behind her is 11, but on top of them is another guy who is coming down, and I think this is going to be Lucas, because we literally see Lucas fighting a Demogorgon in the trailer later on. We'll cover that when we get to that scene. Now this was a very, very cool scene, because here we can see they are definitely in the WSQ radio station. We can see Jonathan, we can see Steve, we can see Nancy, and we can also see Robin, and they just open this secret door and it has stairs to go down. That was so cool. That is really cool. Now another important thing, here we can see this is 11 and this is Hopper. Now we all know that every season there are different groups of people, and every group of people have their own storyline, and this time 11 and Hopper are going to be on a quest together, and they are going to explore the Upside Down. Now they are going to do a lot of things in the Upside Down, and majority of their time is going to be spent in the Upside Down together. And this is one of those scenes, because we can clearly see there is this fog, this Upside Down atmosphere, and we can also see these vines lying around. So this is definitely them exploring the Upside Down, and there are going to be many more scenes like these. Now this scene was very, very cool, because here we can see Mike is finally taking the lead, because in season number 4, when he was the lead, he was the captain of the ship, and then season 2, season 3 he just fell off. Season 4 he was again. Season 4 was the worst season for Mike's character, because he was just disconnected from the whole Hawkins storyline. He was there in California anyways, he was not there, but now he is the center stage, it feels like, and there are a lot of voiceovers by him in the trailer. Maybe tonight is our break, we find Vecna, we end this once and for all together. Goosebump stuff. But just take a look at this. What is this? These are some action figures, and this is Vecna from Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, it is Vecna from Dungeons and Dragons. And again, here we can see a van. This van is definitely the WSQ radio station van, and these 4 action figures, or these 4 different toys, maybe different people, different characters. Among these characters could be, I might be completely wrong, but I just thought this detail to be fascinating, because this is definitely Vecna, and this is definitely the WSQK radio station van. Now this is very interesting. Okay, now she sees something in the air, and of course it is the lightning in the Upside Down. We actually don't know why there is this lightning in the Upside Down, but again she sees the lightning and she runs towards it. She runs, and then we get to see the first time 11 flying. Not the first time, second time, but yeah, 11 can fly. Now the important thing, she is definitely in the Upside Down, correct? But what is this facility? What is this facility? What is this facility? And the more interesting thing is that we can see lights here. We can see it is well lit, and this is again going to be very interesting. Just stay tuned. Now this is a scene where we can see the WSQ radio station is here. There's this WSQ radio station van. Then we have Joyce Bias. Now this is very interesting. Okay, here is Joyce Bias, and they are definitely in the WSQ radio station. Behind Joyce is is Mike, but here we can see someone's shoes. Now who is this lying around? Now this could be Will. But I thought this scene was very sweet, because Joyce is really terrified and she's really thinking about something very hard, and we can see Mike just observing her, and just observing her. I think that was a very sweet scene. Anyways, now this is very, very, very interesting. Now just take a look at this. These are all our heroes. This is Lucas, this is Will's hands, this is Dustin, and this is definitely Mike. So again, Mike is taking the lead. But here, just focus here. Look at what it has written here. Day of disaster. Hawkins left in ruins. After region suffers from huge earthquake. And we all know whatever happened at the end of season 4, it was termed as an earthquake. And now this is the map of Hawkins, and we can again see different areas. Now just look at here. This thing, this this structure resembles so much to the thing that we discussed earlier. This is so exciting, and again, I'm so happy that they are just using these toys. But now we actually saw this scene earlier as well, where they draw out this plan and they are just happy, they are just messing with each other. But then Will maybe gets into some kind of a trance, or he gets some kind of a calling that he always does, and he just wanders away into the forest. Now we have another dialogue. This time it is delivered by Eleven. Now this scene actually is very season 1 coded, where Eleven in this outfit, she's supposed to go in the sensory deprivation tank to just utilize her powers, maybe not. But here she says, this isn't like one of your campaigns, you don't get to write the ending, not this time. So she's just consoling him that okay, you can't plan this. And then we get to a very, very cool scene, because this is definitely Jonathan and Nancy, and there's something happening with whatever this is, and then a portal opens up in the air. This is so cool. This is literally so cool. Anyways, a portal opens up. Just by looking at it, it again feels like they are in the upside down, isn't it? It just feels like they are in the upside down. This is a very sweet detail that I found out. As soon as Jonathan and Nancy are just looking at this portal opening up, Jonathan just becomes a bit protective and he just tries to come in front and cover up Nancy. Yeah, that was a very sweet scene. Anyways, now we get the dust particles here, and this is a scene which we saw in the previous teaser as well. It's observed by Robin, and as I talked about earlier, that they are obviously different people in different groups trying to accomplish something, and they have their own storylines. Now Murray Bauman, the bald eagle, and Robin Buckley is going to form a team together, and they are actually going to use this van, Bradley's Big Buy, to do various things. But anyways, this is again the WSUK radio station, and we can literally see a couple of portals being opening here. There are just going to be different amount of portals that are going to open. This is one of those portals. Then this was one of the portals, so it feels like there are going to be a lot of portals opening up. Then we have this scene where Nancy has a dialogue. Now here Nancy says he's planning to end our world, and he is not gonna stop until we are drained of every last ounce of suffering. Now this is some big words, okay? Because in season number 4, Nancy was the one who was put in a trance by Vecna at the end of episode number 7, I think. And he revealed to Nancy that he is literally going to, just consume the whole world. And that kind of happened at the end of season 4, and now he is again there to accomplish what was left unaccomplished in season number 4. But anyways, this looks like the Hawkins hospital. I'm not sure, but this doesn't look like the WSQ radio station. But anyways, now this is again very important scene, because here we can see Nancy literally washing her hands off of blood. Now we thought about earlier that this could be after the death scene of maybe Nancy's sister Holly, or maybe Nancy's mother Mrs. Wheeler, or Nancy's father, Ted Wheeler. I think it's going to be Ted. I'm not sure, but let's see. Tell me in the comments what you think about this. Anyways, in the next scene now, this is for anyone who is a fan of Dustin and Steve, it is going to melt their hearts, because here Dustin just goes up to Steve and just hugs him very tight. We saw this scene in the earlier teaser as well, and it was a very, very sweet scene. Next scene now. This is the scene that connects to this scene where we saw in the upside down 11 jumping over the fence and getting into some kind of a building, and this building or this facility is this one. And remember I said that they are in the upside down, but there is electricity here. We can literally see lights going off here, and it feels like in a very stealthy way 11 is trying to get into this facility, and that is exactly what she does. Yeah, this is the proof that this is the upside down. We have the lightning here, this is the upside down, and this is 11 trying to get inside this facility, and she does get inside this facility, and we can literally see this is a lab. Now I have a huge feeling that this is going to connect to the Russian storyline that we got to see in season number 4. Now okay, there is a chance that the American military, the US military, is going to go in the upside down and maybe set up this laboratory, but I think this is the work of the Russians, because why would they have such an extensive storyline of Russia in season number 4, which was obviously not concluded? And I think this could be a lab which was set up by the Russians. Now brace yourself, because the next scene is extremely cool, and then we get to see this scene and this explosion of power. This is obviously the upside down, but let me tell you, doesn't this look like the Hawkins lab. Just take a moment and just tell me, doesn't this look like the Hawkins lab? It definitely looks like that, but what about this ball of light, man? What about this ball of light? And I also think that this ball of light is the same portal or the ball of light that we saw with Jonathan and Nancy right in this scene. You can't discount that possibility, right? Or this ball of energy, this ball of power is red. It explodes and then it starts to consume everything. It starts to spread, and while spreading, it turns into blue. Extremely interesting what has happened here. So the red light turns into blue, and it just starts to go on, and it is the upside down. We can also see this is Hopper. Hopper can literally see that the light is going over his head. Then we have Nancy and Jonathan, maybe before a sacrifice or before leaving each other for a kind of a mission. Very emotional stuff. Now, remember I talked about the tunnels. This tunnel here, I said that there is this third person who is climbing down from the ladder. Now that third person is Lucas Sinclair, and Lucas is again battling a Demogorgon. Now we have Nancy, the badass Nancy with her badass gun. She's literally in the military attire and she's literally fighting the military here. But it again feels like it is in the upside down because of these purple, red and blue lights. Now here we have another dialogue, and this time this dialogue is from Mike again. Now he says, we stay true to ourselves, we stay true to our friends, no matter the cost. Now this scene just blew my mind, okay? Yeah, here we can see someone is falling down, and it is practically impossible to tell that who this person is. Maybe this could be Will Byers when he went missing in the first season, the first episode of Stranger Things. This could be that little kid Will, but I don't know, I'm not sure. Now this is again a very interesting scene because I looked at this scene very hard, but I just can't tell that who these all people are. We can definitely see here it is Jonathan. Now this hand is of 11. This is 11. This is Dustin. But who are they hugging here? Now there are two people. Okay, now this is one head and this is the other head. Now this one head could be, because of the hair, it could be Lucas, because it looks like that curly hair, it looks like Lucas. But what about this? Who is this fella? Who is this person? Who are they hugging? But yeah, man, Jonathan is crying. I just don't want this to be after the death of Nancy. Anyways, and we also don't know who this person is behind. Now the next scene we have Erica. You can't spell America without Erica. But we don't have any more context on her character yet. Now this is again a very interesting one now. I've talked about this earlier, and I think this is going to be a very, very cool scenario where we have Steve, and along with Steve we have Jonathan, Nancy and Dustin, and Steve is going to drive his BMW, his car, in the upside down. And that is going to be hilarious in the real world. And they also have an antenna on their car, and this could be one of the things that is connected to the mission about the antennas, and maybe because of the antennas they are able to communicate with the upside down, or maybe they are trying to control whatever this antenna can do with the frequency. Maybe it could be hurting Vecna, or maybe controlling the Demogorgons or Demodogs, something like that. Lumax, the fans of Lumax, the fans of Lucas and Max. This is very, very sweet because we all know Max is in coma from season 4. Now she's definitely going to wake up at some point, but now they are in the hospital and Lucas is taking her because the whole hospital is under the attack of Demodogs or Demogorgons. Here we can see this is a Demodog. But here is a very, very sweet detail. He is literally taking the radio with him. Now you know the significance of it because she might be needing the music here, running up that hill track. She might be needing that. And therefore Lucas has literally carried that with him. Oh, that is sweet. Now the next scene, now this is very interesting again because this is Holly Wheeler and this is Mrs. Wheeler. This is Karen Wheeler, Mike's mother. There is one scene that we have been talking about for a long time, that Holly is going to be possessed by Vecna because there were some scenes leaked, and she, there is a strong possibility that she is going to be possessed. But anyway, she just comes and hugs her mother anyways. Now this is the character of Linda Hamilton. Now this is again the military base, and I have a feeling that she is not shooting at one of her characters, but she is shooting at some Demogorgons or Demodogs because their facility is under attack by the demo creatures. This is again one of the scenes. We have talked about this earlier as well. One new character, the second new character, the third new character. This is definitely Will. he is carried by his mother. Previous teaser I talked about that there's going to be some gates opening from the earth, from below the earth, and this is one of those gates we can clearly see. And in fact, in that breakdown I said that from this gate one demo creature gets out, and this is that demo creature that gets out. It feels like that. Now I don't know who this is shooting, but I think this is Dustin. Now anyways, this is some crazy shots. And by the way, this facility is the same facility that we talked about earlier. This one, and I have to tell you, these are some of the scenes which are going to be very brutal to see, very gory, very graphic, crazy. Now we have the first look at the evolved Vecna. Now remember what I said at the start of this breakdown. In the starting scene we see Vecna, but he is in the form that we saw him in season 4. That means it is not his upgraded form, but now this is his upgraded form, and you can see how brutal that is. And now the best, the most important, the most crazy scene of the trailer, and here Vecna says, "William, you are going to help me one last time." Now that clearly means that Will has been helping him for a long time. And I have a lot of theories about this, but we are going to talk about that in some other video because this is not the place to talk about that. Anyways, Vecna literally takes Will and just says, "You're going to help me for one last time." And now this is, and just the background here, remember I said something about this as well. This background here, this red light and this background are the same place. These are the same place, and therefore I said that this location with the tower is going to be the most important location of the entire trailer. That was my frame by frame breakdown. But I definitely have a lot of theories, a lot of different hidden details as well. We are going to talk about those in some different video. And tell me in the comments what are your thoughts, and just drop below your theories because I want to talk about the theories, and I am sure you have your own theories as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching.